Well, folks, it's time once again for a little bit of wine chat. We have a couple of new things here at Snooth. There's a rather fancy Plycraft chair. Gotta love these. Going to be part of the new studio here at Snooth. Wine. I don't know what the name is yet. We're going to figure out a name. And of course, I now have a beautiful office robe in which to drink wine. So, welcome back to you guys. The office robe is incredibly comfortable. It does make my head look tiny, this gigantic collar, but hey, that's the price we pay for luxuriating in our new digs. Same old office. We did things, new table, new chair, new stuff. I've been gone all summer, been tired, been busy, been traveling, but as you can see, darkness has settled over the Big Apple, so it's time once again to talk to you guys. Set that camera back a little bit. I have a Doritos chip stuck in my throat, so I'm going to be making some throat clearing noises now and again. But I'm here. This is going to be my new uniform. I might change the bathrobe occasionally for, have a Monday robe, a Wednesday robe, a robe for virtual tastings. But this is the way life should be, right? Kicking back, relaxing with your tiny little head, enjoying some wine. So what are we going to do? We're going to enjoy some wine today for my welcome back visit. I'm going to unleash on you a couple of Portuguese red wines. A lot of you know that I love Portuguese red wines. I'm a big fan of them. I find them to be great values. But like a lot of regions, they've begun to modernize their wines. So I'm finding a lot of the wines are very oaky. Not that they weren't that oaky, excuse me, before, but they're even oakier today. There's a lot of barrique treatment going on, and it definitely detracts from some of the appeal of the wines for me. But I tasted a case today, and I managed to find 3 outstanding wines. And I'm looking at the prices now, handwritten on the back. And the wines were from $10 to $17 a bottle, and as it so happens, these are the 3 most expensive. Go figure that. Another kind of interesting thing is that I believe 2 of these wines are blends with Syrah in them. One is Touriga Nacional and Syrah, and the other is Touriga Nacional and Syrah. Go figure that. And the last one is a blend of unspecified percentages of Tinta Roriz, Touriga Nacional, and Touriga Franca. So a more traditional Portuguese blend. So why don't we start with that? This is the Quinta de la Rosa 2007 Douro. This is not my beautiful high-def camera, so you're not going to get beautiful high-def images of the labels here. And while I have a beautiful fancy bathrobe on, I'm sticking to the same old spit bucket, so you'll continue to see me spitting into a pitcher. That's just the way I roll. That's just the way I roll. So here we have Quinta de la Rosa. They're a port house. This is a Douro Red 2007. As I said before, Tinta Roriz, Touriga Nacional, Touriga Franca. I certainly like the ports from Quinta de la Rosa. I remember, going back 20 years or so, I think the 88 was the first vintage I enjoyed. It was relatively inexpensive. But their red, their still wines are a little bit newer, a little bit of a newer thing to me. So here we have, again, starting out, this has got a bit of obvious oak impression on the nose. Sour red fruits. The vanilla adds a little sweetness to it. It's a slightly earthy, slightly chocolatey kind of nose. Nice fresh tannins, good acidity, medium bodied. This is a tough little wine though. This is definitely, they make a Reserva. This is not the Reserva. This is a wine you could cellar. A lot of licorice in the finish. A fair amount of pretty ripe red fruit on the palate. I like the perfume. I got the big black collar because you can't see drips. I like the perfume of red fruit, red cherries in the mouth. Really lovely wine. I'm going to keep the spit pitcher off to my side because that's probably not the most attractive thing that you want to see. So the Quinta de la Rosa, slightly tough, slightly rustic, needs a nice red, rare steak. Could go beautifully with slightly gamey red meats. And the next wine, that's 15 bucks. So the next one is 14 bucks. And this is Herdade do Esperaus Vinha da Defesa, Touriga Nacional in Syrah. And there are percentages on here somewhere, but I can't find them right now. There you go. It's 50-50. 50% Touriga Nacional, which is, of course, Portugal's most important grape, responsible for port, and Syrah. And it's kind of an interesting thing that both of the top wines are blends of Touriga Nacional and Syrah. I love Syrah. I don't find that Syrah really blends well with lots of other grapes. It tends to be taken over. You know, you blend it with something else, and the wine ends up smelling and tasting like something else. In this case, the blend of Touriga Nacional and Syrah ended up as a sort of an integrated blend. Real dark color here. The oak here is a little rawer, a little smokier, but there's some beautiful jammy fruit underneath, a little herbal quality coming out. A little black pepper. The Syrah makes itself known with these slight herbal, black pepper, and grilled meat aromas. And there's a sweetness here to the fruit. Blueberries, huckleberries, wild blueberries. Maybe a little black raspberry, a little pencil lead, so fairly complex. That's a big one. It's got more fruit sweetness, it's more modern. Definitely significantly more modern than the Quinta de la Rosa. Right there on entry, you get a lot of sweet fruit. Blackberry jam, spice. Again, the licorice. The licorice for me is coming from the Touriga Nacional. It finishes with rich, dark fruit. It's a little bit thick. It's a little bit concentrated. And I say that in a funny way because I'm not a huge fan of concentration in wines. I like lighter wines. Easier to pair with food, easier to drink. This wine definitely has its place. It's really super well made. It's spicy on the palate. It's got some wood spice, some cedar, some cigar box. A lot of fruit, plenty of fruits. 14.5% alcohol, and when I tasted this earlier today, the alcohol stuck out a little bit more than it does now. There's a little heat on the finish. Finish is cut short a little bit by the tannins and the heat, but it's still an attractive wine. So this last bottling from the Alentejano is LM, Syrah, and Touriga Nacional. This is 60%. I should have gone through the vintages. This is 60% Touriga Nacional, 40% Syrah. The last wine was the 2009 Vinha da Defesa, Vinha da Defesa. Of course, the Quinta de la Rosa was 07, and here we have LM 06. I'll have to check to confirm this, but I think this is the most expensive one of the bunch, 17 bucks. It's also the most mature, which certainly helps. I don't know if you can see, but you can definitely see that there's a little bricking going on here. Actually, a fair amount of bricking in color. Bricking, the color turns to the color of bricks. Looks like raspberry juice in bricks right now. It's a little bit lighter colored than either the Quinta de la Rosa or the Vinha da Defesa. And the nose has more, interesting, there's less Syrah in here, but yet it has more Syrah character. More, almost green olive, herbal qualities. Spicy oak. Getting a little drip in the nose there. It's a rather calm nose at this point. It was more effusive earlier. Still attractive. There's a little like a lingonberry, red berry jam thing going on. And it's smooth as silk. Not really, but it's got this layer of mature, supple fruit over a base of structure. The finish is long, dry cherry, dry meaning not sweet, not dry, maybe a little dry. Oh, very nice finish. Really attractive qualities, the suppleness in the mouth. There's a firmness under, it's like a balloon with the fruit taut and stretched over the tannins and the acid. A little mushroomy, right on the entry. That's because of the age. A little bit floral. But the finish is great. The finish has got these sour red fruits, a little bit of complexity, beautiful texture. It's got a very interesting combination of modern and traditional qualities. The feel is modern. The feel is unusually smooth and supple, but the flavor profile is distinctly to the red fruit end of the spectrum. There's a lot of minerality. There's a lot of clay going on here. The oak is integrating well. It has a sweetness to it, but it's not sweet. And it has some green olive character from the Syrah, adding complexity. Beautiful wine. Really impressed by this. Elem, Touriga Nacional, and Syrah. It's got an attractive label. They paid for marketing, I'm sure. That's pretty cool right there. It's got a back label that's informative. It's in Portuguese and English, so you can learn something from it. So this is my welcome back edition. I would be louder, but I'm looking over there and the microphone's tuned too high, so if I start screaming, we're going to go into distortion. And while I love distortion when I'm listening to Black Sabbath or Kid Rock, right now I'm just chilling. Oops, I spilled a little wine there. Just chilling with my bathrobe and some Portuguese wine on a unusually cool September, October. It's already October evening. And I got to get back in the swing of things. That's a fact, folks. I've been away for a long time. You get rusty, but you don't forget. So I will be back with more wine talk, a better looking set, but I don't know if I can do a better looking bathrobe. And more fun, because that's what this is all about. Wine should be about fun, should be having a great time. There's so many things that have gone on over the past couple of months that I haven't been talking about. More counterfeit wine, more stupid wine talk. There's an endless amount of stupid wine talk. We've got some really interesting things going on here at Snooth. We've got some great events coming up, which I'll share with you. But I've taken up too much of your time already. So the tip for today, get out there, try some Portuguese red wines. They're traditional, modern, and somewhere in between. They're affordable, $15, $14, $17. They're really interesting, and there's something new. And something new, as long as it's good, is never a bad thing. So this is going to be something new. We're going to kick off a new rants series. We're going to have to rename it. So if anybody out there has got a name for Snooth's video series featuring none other than GDP in a bathrobe, please let me know. And on that note, I'm going to have to sign off, folks. I'll see you all maybe tomorrow. Actually, not tomorrow. I'll be drinking wine with friends tomorrow. I'll be drinking Brazilian wine with Snoothers on Thursday. But probably what I'll do is I'll report back on Friday with a little bit of a wrap-up on Thursday's Brazilian wine tasting. So until then, my friends, get yourself a bathrobe and drink well.